places, by far. A very spiritual place where you just feel really close to the earth. We got an awesome tip when we rolled into Taos on being able to film on the Pueblo, which a lot of people have a hard time even bringing their cameras to shoot any photography or anything there. So we were really lucky.
I'm a Taos Pueblo Indian artist. I actually been, believe it or not, been at my gallery open for 20 years now. But I've been doing art 5+ that years. This is my art right here. I'm inspired by not only the Taos Pueblo, but also the landscapes, the beauty of the land, the easy life we used to have a long time ago before we actually got more so-called civilized.
Art is fun. It's another way to draw me to be bold with colors.
I love to paint. I do it almost every day. I do shows nationwide. I even show internationally.
Not only is it him, it's a family gallery. It's him and his wife and his children, and they are all artists, and they're all amazing artists.
I've been painting and drawing ever since I was a little girl. I don't really have a certain age when I started. I remember watching my parents every day run a gallery and do what they love, do what their passion is, and that's what I want to do when I'm older. My future career is to be an artist similar to them, but not really following the exact footprints. I want to experience a little bit more, go into depth a little bit more, and just see the world and see what different art is out there.
They create artwork using their environment, which they go to places on the Pueblo that you and I cannot go to.
Navajos are people who live out on a larger range of mesas, landscape that's very harsh.
We have people from all over the world buy our art. Not only from the United States, we have people as far away from Russia, China, we have people in South Korea, everywhere in a continent you could think of, even the small little islands in the Pacific. And it's wonderful and it's a privilege to actually have people that so like your art so much, and it makes you feel good.
It's pretty magical that we got to go film this here.
Well, it's my baby, come on, go with me. We're down south.
Austin, Texas is probably the biggest gold mine of the whole trip, because I feel like I could have been there for months and not even scurfed over the surface of like all of the amazing art there. The food is artistic, the music is endless, and the art is everywhere.
And believe it or not, here in Austin, there are some other little areas that are more intentional. This is accidental, but we all ended up here.
All these people that are out of work and they're like, I mean, maybe a year ago it was the worst, but people are losing their jobs and trying to redefine themselves. Mm-hmm. And so you got a lot of people digging within.
The art in Austin was like, people weren't even trying to be artistic art, which is some of my favorite kind of art.
I'm painting this mural for the snack bar, which is right over here. They're all about sustainability and organic food. And
especially I don't want to say it in the wrong way, but in the past, women in the tattoo field, it hasn't been very common. Now it's more common, but so it's really special and cool.
She is the #1 tattoo artist in Austin, and she was super cool.
This is some wood called angel art. And I built a window frame being replaced. It's a South American wood.
These are so pretty. They found like the biggest joy in their life, what their passion really is all about. This has been his life, like passionately taking dead pieces of wood out of the earth and giving them a new life.
I'm going to spray this guitar with lacquer today. So if you guys want to watch, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do it.
And so basically what I'm doing is I'm spraying nitrocellulose lacquer, which is kind of the standard for pre-war Martins, which are like the guitars that people pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for. You know, like they're made before World War II, and this is kind of the finish that they use. So.
And I make my living from painting, and I mostly paint on canvas and wood, sometimes metal. And in the last 5 years, I've been doing public work, which is a lot of fun because I can just paint really large.
Yeah, because I think tattooing is kind of a shamanic art where you're transforming yourself into something different than what you were before. Hopefully it's aesthetic.
So tattooing art form and watching the way that this woman tattoos was really intriguing to me.
That's one thing that I do like about tattoo art is I can make a living at it. I don't have to have a side job. But it's taken me a long time to get to that point. It's longer than a man, I have to say. But I can work twice as hard, and it finally came around to where I get a little bit of recognition. You know, I get a lot of really cool clients that really like my work, and that's a big honor.
She has an extreme talent to be able to really manifest and bring that into something really amazing.
I've really had a great life in that I get to be creative. I love using the creative part of my mind to figure out what the colors are going to be and what the composition is going to be. The painting is just kind of you and the canvas, or you and the wood that you're painting on. So sometimes it's a little lonely, I have to say.
Really cool gallery, really eclectic, fun, and very fine art quality gallery, beautiful gallery.
This building is a historic building in East Texas, and it was built by the WPA in 1938.
It was really great to talk to these guys about their vision.
Finding this building in the middle of nowhere, it's literally in the middle of nowhere. You have to go down a dirt road for 6 miles. A very rough dirt road for 6 miles.
They have a vision for this property that they built. The Fodice Foundation is what it's called, where it will be a retreat, sort of kind of a place where artists will have huge live-in studios where they can live for 3 months and live as a community.
We all thrive because of art, I believe. And if it weren't for the arts in my world, I wouldn't have made it. Period. I just wouldn't have made it. Art, basically, it's one of those things that if it's important in your life, it's the most important thing in your life. It's the thing that's bringing you out of your shell.
What kind of drew me to painting is I think a lot of artists have just a compulsive need just to make things, and then there really is no logic to it. It's kind of an unhealthy behavior, but I think that it's really great if you can take that, just that it's an uncontrollable urge to create things and really turn it into some sort of career and have a little channeling in how it's made.
So I've seen so much good art here that whenever I see really good art, it makes me want to give up and get to work at the same time. You know, it makes me think like, God, what am I doing? This is so inspiring. I just should stop. And then I find my strength and I decide, no man, I can do that. I can do something just as awesome.
I like to see some blood on it, and like somebody really had to kill themselves to produce this. That's good stuff. I mean, the little stuff is great. Put it on your menu. Exactly.
I'm an avid art collector. I'm running out of room because I'm so passionate about art.
Carolyn Farb is the first woman philanthropist to be put in the Hall of Fame. She's a very generous and giving spirit who is able to really transpire different visions artistically.
Once I actually took out a ceiling over a tub, which I sometimes regret, but it's to house Javier Marin's sculpture, which is magnificent, and it looked like when it arrived from Mexico, it was like people thought a body was coming from Mexico. It was like a large box that like a coffin would be in. But I have an eclectic collection ranging from Rauschenberg to Javier Marin to Forrester Wilson. That's a very special painting. It's called The Wind.
I We are invited to go and film at this fundraiser where they were raising money for the Food Ice Foundation.
$850. We got 9. All right, $900. Loving that. How about $950? Who's gonna jump up to $950? We got $950. Who's gonna take it to $1,000? $1,000. You gonna go $1,000?
You see something that moves you ought to just go for it. And that's why we're with this tonight. So this is a great event, a great cause, and this is an original piece of artwork that I got very cheap. So
we want to support all the artists, all the galleries, but we don't only do that. We also support the performing arts. The arts in general, visual and performing, are very important to the community and to the growth of the community. Price doesn't matter. If it speaks to you, buy it. Support the artists, support the community. Once you do that, I think everybody will grow together.
How you doing? This is Rick Armstrong and the Armstrong family at Rare Gallery in Jackson Hole.
All right, I love Jackson Hole, and I love the Rare Gallery. I love those guys. I love them.
We are the 5th largest art market in the country, so it speaks loud and clear that Jackson is a wonderful place to come for art and the experience, which is what our gallery tends to be about.
They have some of the finest collected artists in the world in their gallery. Everything is original in there. They do not have any prints. They don't mess around, man. They got the good stuff.
What I like about the art is the how unique it is and how it is very different than others.
Their kids are totally exposed to this whole experience.
I think that's what's most important about art is you can be a young person, you can be an old person. It's what moves you, and that's what we build our gallery around. It's about art that moves you and takes you places.
We're here on a day that they happen to be having a trunk show with a woman from Oklahoma City.
I had absolutely no interest in jewelry. I really wanted to be an architect. So what I was doing was I was always designing my dream house. But as I got older, I also realized that I love color and I like painting. And instead of going to architecture school, I tried to take a graphic art design route in college, and that didn't quite work out. But along the way, one of my professors who had a lot of confidence in my abilities introduced me to a local jewelry designer in Tulsa, Oklahoma. She was looking for someone who was completely untrained to hire as an apprentice. And so I went and I interviewed with her. But really not that interested. I think I went to the interview to do it more as a favor for my professor, but when I sat down and I met her and she explained what she wanted to teach me, it sounded really fun and really interesting because I've always loved to work with my hands. And I told her, I said, well, I've never had any experience making jewelry, so I don't even know if I can do it.
She is one of the most acclaimed artists in the country.
That moment when I started carving that wax, I had just a light bulb moment, and I knew that I was in the right place and doing what I was meant to do, which is to design and make small things, small architectural things, if you will, with my hands.
She has some of the most beautiful jewelry that you have ever seen. She has an eye for finding the most beautiful stones and setting them just perfectly.
A lot of time and effort and many hours and a lot of love and joy go into everything that I make, and so when our pieces find a good home, it's a very gratifying experience, and you like to think that you've helped bring a little bit of happiness into the world by what you do.
Her work's amazing and very inspiring. I do jewelry on a really small level, but she's one of the big dogs.
We are in one of my favorite places where I find inspiration. It's a junkyard right down the road from my house, and anytime I need to relax and get away, I head down here and take photographs and sit and talk to cars. I know that sounds a little strange, but they give me something back.
Her work inspires me. She is able to really see the beauty at a micro level, and I love her photographs. I have quite a few myself and am always inspired at looking things through her eyes.
And what I've been loving is taking little parts and pieces of the cars and turning them more into the paint and the metal and how it has weathered over however many years. I think it's just a beautiful way to kind of take something you know what it is, but you take it out of context of knowing what it is and it becomes something else. And for everybody that looks at it, it becomes something different. So
I love that she does it for her soul and for her spirit and for her first. And
it gives me peace to be able to create something that's from my viewpoint only. And really, I could care less if people like it or not. It's healing for me. And if other people like it and want to enjoy it as well, that's a bonus.
Who do we create art for? Do we create it for the viewer or do we create it for ourselves? To me, there is an unspoken language between the artist and the viewer, and I feel like Jay's philosophies really communicate that really well.
I really believe that digital photography is a fine art, and I wish I had more of an opportunity to show it in some fine art galleries. And what's kept me going is the people who have purchased it are fine art appreciators. They really collect, they have all kinds of major artists, and then here I am like thrown into the mix, and it's like, what an honor for me to be on your walls.
Sweet Pea to me has like this awesome All-American feel to it, but there's artists from all over All-America, so that's probably why.
My name is A.M. Stockhill, and we're here at the Sweet Pea Art Festival in Bozeman, Montana. This is my work. I use a variety of different textures and medium, from antique book pages to heavily textured backgrounds with crackle paste and pumice gel. Like you wouldn't believe it, but some of these paintings started out as bright yellow and bright reds, bright oranges.
The shows give me the opportunity to talk to the people that are interested in seeing what I'm doing, and also inspires me to kind of go on and continue with my work. And I get inspiration from them also. So.
And it's nice to be able to interact with people and see when they come to you and they're like, oh my gosh, I love this, and you're like, yeah.
I make sculptures out of old farm machinery, recycled, it's got old traps in it, pitchforks.
I spend hundreds of hours with these subjects, carving them into wood, and for me it's sort of a way to honor and celebrate the beauty and the mystery of this land.
Well, sometimes I'm inspired by my surroundings, and frequently I'm inspired by a material.
I like doing mostly nature forms, sometimes scenery and people, but for the most part I like flowers and clouds and anything that had to do with nature.
For me,